Hey, and welcome back. So tonight, and if you are on here live with us, hi. And if you're watching the recording, hi. Anyway, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. So tonight we're going to talk about my top 4 weight loss journey regrets, if you will. As somebody who was a weight loss failure for more than a decade, and as somebody who has been on the weight loss train, both ends of it, the struggling, the failing, and the succeeding, I was a weight loss failure for like a decade, and I didn't want to be. So I had tried every diet under the sun, all which ended in failing. Not succeeding. And even when I would lose some weight, I would go find it again. Yes, guilty. That was me, fully me. And then obviously crossing over 6.5 years ago, starting again, getting back up, picking myself back up, being afraid of failing, but really just being more afraid of spending my life stuck, modeling that for my kids. And after a decade of failing, finally crossing over from failing to succeeding, losing 161 pounds in 13 months, going from a size 22 down to a size 2, shopping in normal, clothing stores, which is such a trip, so much fun. You kind of get used to your overweight life. And the one part that I just always was like, man, this sucks. There was a lot of things. But one of the biggest things was shopping in the plus size section. Like, I would always see all the normal clothing stores, and then I would see the couple plus size sections. And it was like they always marked up all the cute, trendy plus size clothes because they're like, hey, I gotcha. There's only so many people that make them. We know you're going to pay more. So anyway, it's amazing how much cheaper I can get normal size clothes, trendy, cute ones versus the plus size ones. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But I do have there's not a lot of regrets that I have. So many times people say, Carmen, losing all that weight, going through that process, would you do it again? So let me start there. Yes, hands down, every day, twice on Sunday, no regrets about losing the weight. None. No regrets about the journey. No regrets. I would lose the weight all over. There has not been a downside to being smaller, healthier, fitter. There is nothing about that old life, the old morbidly obese me, that I'm like, oh man, I really miss the extra fluff. I really miss shopping in the plus size section. I really miss, struggling when I would try to exercise or play with my kids, or there's nothing about the old life that I would ever take back. However, there are a few regrets that I have during the process that I didn't really know I was going to have. So tonight we're going to talk about those 4 regrets, my top 4 regrets that I have from losing 161 pounds. And so if you have not, before we dive in, if you have not taken the time to join our community here on YouTube that is slowly but surely growing, please make sure to do so. Hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss any of our videos. We do upload 4 times a week. That's the only way that you'll get notified, is by subscribing and ringing the bell. And then if you happen to like anything that we say here in any of the videos, give it a thumbs up. YouTube really loves when you give the video a thumbs up. It helps out our channel greatly. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. All right, where am I at? Okay, I have a little cheat sheet here because sometimes, I don't know if you do this, but sometimes I get so excited and I get a bunny off track. So I always have notes. I hardly ever use them just in case that happens. Or I'm a mom, so I am busy momming most days. And so, sometimes my brain just goes blank. So anyway, I have my little cheat sheet right here just in case I need it. All right, number 1, the very first one. One of my top 4 regrets is that I did not start sooner. Prior to 6.5 years ago, I have started a lot of diets, a lot of workout programs, a lot of shakes, a lot of detoxes, all those fad diets that they came out with. I probably gave it a shot. But I was never somebody, I had always thought that losing weight was going to be so hard. I had built it up in my head like it was going to be Mount freaking Everest. Now, let me just tell you, it is hard work, but it's a simple science. And so so many times after losing, like I can remember getting in the middle of losing weight. And when you come from where I come from, which is struggling and failing, the only thing that made sense to me is that I couldn't do it because it was hard. Like if it was easy, I surely would be able to do it. So I made it up in my head that, oh, I just can't do this. It's so hard. And when I actually started doing it, and then when I got done losing the 161 pounds, it was actually easier than I made it out to be in my head. In my mind, I made it out to be like, I don't know, this really hard, difficult thing. And it was never as hard as I thought it was going to be. And so, so many times people will see my before and after, or they'll see me, or we'll be in a conversation. And almost always, one of the biggest comments I get from somebody who hasn't lost weight, who has a normal weight, is they'll say, oh my goodness, that must have been so hard. And, it's not like I don't want to say, yeah, I mean, there was some hard work, but, they're like, oh, it must have been so hard. And I get it. Like I was there for a decade living in this so hard. But when I actually got into it, it was just making simple changes. And there was a few key things that I changed. Getting a coach, somebody who could call me on my crap, keep me accountable. Making sure that I was in a group of people that were going in the same direction, that I wasn't just hanging out with a whole bunch of overweight people. And I'm not saying you don't hang out with overweight people, but if you're trying to lose weight, you better hang out with some people that also are trying to go in that same direction, because birds of a feather flock together. I have friends that are all different sizes, overweight, in between, and super small. All different spectrums. I'm an all size friend lover. With that being said, when I was losing weight, I had to make sure I put myself around people that were going in the same direction I wanted to go. Period, end of story. And so one of my biggest regrets is that I did not start sooner, that I waited so long. Like I was the person that was like, well, this year, like we're already, my 2020 resolution down the drain. I mean, we're already this many months through the year. I might as well wait. We've always got this new year coming. So in the next year, when 2021 gets here, then I'll wipe the slate clean and I'll start over. Oh man, we're already in the middle of this month, next month, first of the month, then I'll do it. It's Tuesday. Who starts in the middle of the week? I'll just wait till Monday. Let's get through the week and then let's get past our daughter's birthday, past the holidays, past the summer, past the blah, blah, blah. And I was always kicking the can down the road to when I was going to do it. When the kids got a little older, when life got a little less hectic, when this opened up, when that opened up. Listen, friend. If you are waiting for the perfect circumstance to get your health in order, if you are waiting for the perfect circumstance to lose the weight, the sun, the moon, and the stars are never going to all line up for you to lose the weight. You're just going to have to make a decision knowing that life is not going to cooperate, and you're just going to have to do it anyway. And when you make the decision that, you know what, there is no good time. Now is as good as time as any. The only better time was yesterday, and since that's already gone, I guess I'll go with today. Today is the very best time, period, end of story, no matter what you have going on in life. Because when that thing that you're waiting to get done is done, something else is going to come up. So now. And I wish I would have had somebody to tell me that, the old me then. All right, number 2 is that one of my biggest regrets is that for so long, I listened to the wrong people. And, I watch, a lot of us probably have a tendency to do this. I know I'm probably not alone on this, but listen, one of the most powerful things that you and I and everybody else walking around in our life is our own mind. And what we allow to go into here is going to come out of here. And so for years and years and years, I allowed people to tell me things like, Carmen, you're just big boned. You don't have one of those small frames. That's just not the way you're built. You're big boned. Even if you lost the weight, you would never be one of those small people. So imagine, and after I can remember going through anatomy and seeing a skeleton. And I can even remember my professor in college saying, listen, like there's no such thing as big boned. Bones are bones. Like some bones are wider, smaller, but it's not like my bone is thicker than your bone. Like I'm morbidly obese because I've got morbidly obese bones. And you're skinny because you got skinny bones. Like, no, we all got skinny bones. You take all the meat off, you take the fluff off, and we got bones. There's no big bones. So, but when you have failed for so long, and when you've been overweight for the same amount of time, for as long as I had, it was one of those things that it's like, you just start to think, maybe I am big boned. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not one of those small people. Maybe I'll never wear skinny jeans. Maybe this is just my lot in life and I should just accept it instead of being unhappy. And so what happens when you listen to the people that don't have what you want? And here's how I determine who I'm going to listen to in what areas in life, okay? Because there's certain people in life that I listen to in health and fitness that I don't like. I'll listen to their advice when it comes to health and fitness, but I don't listen to their advice when it comes to parenting. Or I listen to their advice when it comes to finances, but I don't listen to their advice when it comes to health and fitness. So you find somebody who has what you want and you do what they do. You find somebody who has the fruit in their life, who has a stack, who's got the results, who has the parenting or the kids that you want, right? And just because you listen to somebody in one area doesn't mean you listen to them in all areas. I had somebody who was a marriage coach for my husband and I listened to everything she said for marriage. I was paying like $250 an hour. You better believe I freaking listened. But I didn't necessarily they didn't have the finances I wanted when I got to be their age. So they had the marriage, so I listened to the marriage advice, but I didn't listen to the finance advice. Does that make sense? And so if you're walking around and somebody does not have the results you want with your health, with your weight, don't ask them for advice. And if they so freely give it, just let it go in one ear and right out the other. You ain't got to listen to that. If they don't have what you want, don't ask. And if someone's giving you advice and they don't have what you want, you don't got to be a brat and you don't got to be rude and you don't got to say, honey, you're overweight. You ain't got room to tell me nothing. You ain't got to do that. You just let it go in one. Just recognize the fact that they don't have what I want. I'm not going to listen. And this was, so many times I had started diets or detoxes or all the things that I started because it's a freaking long list. And people would like discourage me or try to get me to do something else. And again, all these people, if somebody said, do you want their health? Do you want their weight? Is this where you're going? Most of the time, the answer was no. So I didn't want what they had health-wise. But here I was listening to what they had to say. Here I was allowing them to influence me. Here I was listening to their opinion when I didn't even want to go in that direction. And that's not a knock against that person. Listen, I know that I don't have it together in every area of life. There's a lot of areas like I'm still trying to figure the frickin' stuff out. Like I am a work in progress. And a lot of, that's why I'm not like a Carmen's coaching. Come to me for everything. Because I'm still working. I'm still messing stuff up. Like, gosh, I had to apologize to my kids so often. I'm like, please forgive mommy for snapping at you. I was wrong. But this weight loss thing, I got it pretty figured out. I got it pretty dialed in. So when my clients work with me, they're working with me because I got a track record. I got a stack in this area. Does that make sense? All right. Number 3 that I did, and this is one of my biggest ones, that I did not take more pictures before I lost the weight and during the weight loss process. I can remember my husband coming to me saying before we were getting ready to start working out, and he was going to start working out with me. And he said, hey, do you want me to help you take your before and after photos? And it was like he just cussed me out because I was like, psht. No. First off, if I'm going to take photos, I got it. Like, I can't take a photo. Hello. And no, what do I need photos for? Like, I'm not a fitness person. I don't need those before photos. And you can never go back and take them. And the reason I didn't want to take them is because I was ashamed. Like, I was a size 22. I was 288 pounds. I didn't want to see those photos. And I didn't think anybody else wanted to either. I was so focused on where I was versus where I was going. I didn't embrace that this is where I'm at, but it's not where I'm staying. And I didn't have the foresight to think what I could maybe do with those pictures someday, what they might mean. On the other side of losing those 161 pounds, I wound up entering a contest where some of their products that I use, they wound up using my before and afters in publications, and I won 106,000, just so you don't mishear what I'm saying, $106,000 that I was paid. Like, that was the checks that I got in my name for my transformation. That's a pretty insane amount of money to be given so that the company can say, hey, look at, like, this was the transformation. Like, she was the best female transformation of the year. She used these products, da 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 da. And I squeaked that win out because I can remember going back and messaging everybody I knew, hey, do you have any photos of me overweight? Like, can you please go back and look and see if you have any photos? Scouring Facebook, scouring Instagram, scouring MySpace. Do you guys remember MySpace? Are you even old? Like, going back to the things, anything I could find, anybody I could find that had pictures of me that was overweight. And if I just would have taken the freaking photos, I would have had them. But the morbidly obese me was so ashamed of that I couldn't imagine wanting photos of me at that size. And even the progress photos, like, if I could redo it, I would have taken photos every single week. I would have put on my sports bra, put on my little tight workout shorts, and I would have turned it to the front, turned it to the side, turned it to the back, and I would have taken all the photos. And then I would have put them in a private album that no one else could see but me. What I would not do to have those photos, the inspiration that would come from them, the reminder that I would have of where I started. It's just, and it is what it is. You know, now I can tell the people that I'm working with, the people that I'm coaching, the people here on YouTube, hey, take your freaking photos. And I get it. If you don't want to show anyone right now, like, I fully get it. You don't have to. Take them, put them in a private album, and save them for another day. You'll want to have them. You never know what could be on the other side of those. Like, my before and after photos have been in front of some of the biggest TV producers, some of the biggest magazine publishers, you know, but I would never have known that then. So you don't ever know where your before and afters, where they might end up and what kind of photos they might want for certain opportunities that you aren't even thinking about right now at the very beginning of your weight loss or the middle of your weight loss or thinking about weight loss. But take the freaking photos. Don't make the mistake I did. Take the photos, as many as you can. All right. And the fourth and final one is that, that I allowed myself to feel ashamed at all the sizes. I, for a hot second, allowed my weight, I'm not going to say a hot second, I'm going to say a decade longer. I allowed my weight to define me. I put my worth in the tag that was on the back of my pants. I put my worth in the number that was on the scale. I put my worth in what judgments other people had or didn't have against me. I put my worth in that. I put my worth in the outside appearance of myself versus what was on the inside. Listen to me. that number on the scale is not who you are. It's your it's currently where you're at, but it's not who you are. And it's not where you have to stay. Listen, if you love the reflection staring back at you in the mirror, if you can honestly stand there and say, I'm confident and I love the skin I'm in, that's great. But if you don't, you can change it. But instead of changing it, I hid from it. I denied it. I felt ashamed. I accepted defeat many seasons in my life. This is just my lot in life. I'm just not one of those people that's built to be skinny or fit or whatever you want to call it. And I let it affect me in so many ways. It affected my sex life with my husband. You know, I would let him turn the lights on, but I didn't want the lights on. I didn't like certain positions because things just don't look good in certain positions. I was very aware of where I was positioned in photographs and pictures and, you know, even playing with my kids at 288 pounds, wrestling around on your knees. I mean, you know, you can only do that for so freaking long. I couldn't ride roller coasters. And I just really let it affect me. And so what I did was I put up this front of confidence. I put up this front of I've got it all together. And I did have it together in a lot of other areas. My health, it was a freaking hot mess. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You are not defined by the size pants you wear. You are not defined by the number on the scale. That is not who you are. God made you and he made you amazing. And when you are ready to get the weight off, you will. But that doesn't change who you are. You are amazing at 400 pounds. You are amazing at 300 pounds. You're amazing at 200 pounds. And you're amazing at 150 pounds. Your weight does not change that you are an amazing, beautifully made, wonderfully made, unique individual. Period. End of story. And if anyone's got a problem with your form, they can go shove it where the sun doesn't shine is what they can do. Because let me just tell you, no matter what size you are, nobody is ever just going to think, and not everybody on the planet is going to think you're amazing. Period. End of story. No matter what size you're at. And you can't hate your way to skinny. Because hating your form, hating your reflection, hating your body is in here. And if you hate your body at 300 pounds, if you stand in front of the mirror and you pick yourself apart at 300 pounds, you're going to do it at 200. You're going to do it at 150. You're going to do it at 120. Because picking yourself apart is a habit that has no weight restriction. You will do it at every weight. I have friends that are small that stand in front of the mirror and pick themselves apart, that talk about their cellulite and their rolls. And I'm thinking, you want to see some rolls, honey? You should see some before photos of me because I can show you some rolls. You got some butter? I had lots of them everywhere. Oh my goodness. Ugh. But your weight doesn't define you. It just doesn't. And if you're putting your worth in it and you're feeling ashamed of it, listen, if you're overweight, you know you're overweight. Just like I knew I was overweight. Stop hiding from it. It is what it is. And if you don't have a problem with it, fine. If you do have a problem with it, do something about it. Don't make the same mistake I did and wait so long to finally do something about it. But these really, you know, and I could make some list of some other smaller ones, but these were by far my top 4 biggest regrets when it comes to weight loss. They were, yeah. And if I could go back and change them, I would. Although I think the fact that I did those things has really allowed me to help coach my clients through that, not making those same mistakes, because I know that I made them. And so when I talk to my clients about it, I can be like, you go take your freaking photo. Don't give me any excuses. Take your photo. And I want to see it. I won't show no one, but you better send it to me. Why? Because I know what the regret is of not taking it. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for joining us, whether you're here with us live or whether you're watching the recording. Make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, give the video a thumbs up, and we will see you on the next